Lying in the shadow of Mount Daisen, the tallest mountain in the Chugoku region, sits several tiny abandoned buildings in the middle of nowhere. Surrounded by thick forests, numerous rice fields, and very little else, these buildings were once known as the Manohara Mountain Villa Hotel, sauna attached. These days, however, it's better known to the locals as the Yurei Hotel. Draped in fog that constantly rolls down from the mountains, you might be forgiven for thinking you've stepped into Silent Hill, or, perhaps more appropriately, Forbidden Siren. An old-fashioned sign mounted on metal pipes, not unlike that of a tower you might see in Forbidden Siren, rises high into the sky, letting you know that you've arrived at the sauna-attached hotel. That is, if you can now locate it amongst the overgrown trees and untended branches that obscure it from sight. The rest of the sign lies broken and abandoned in the forest, much like the villa itself. As the name suggests, the Manohara Mountain Villa is made up of several buildings. There is the 2-story administrative building, and then a short distance away, past the garage, you'll find the lodgings, which, of course, come with a sauna attached. A quick look inside lets you know that you're not dealing with just any old hotel, however. The narrow rooms, bright red walls and gaudy furniture all scream Love Hotel. That's right, the Manohara Mountain Villa, hidden deep at the foot of the mountains in the middle of nowhere, is a love hotel. Or was a love hotel. It's uncertain when exactly it went out of business, but in 1991, the local Nihonkai newspaper published an article stating that the abandoned hotel was haunted. Ever since then, rumours spread, and it came to be feared as the Yurei Hotel by locals. One of the ghosts that haunts the hotel is said to appear in the administrative building. A quick step inside, and it's not hard to see why. The outside is covered in graffiti, and all the window and door glass is broken, but inside is even worse. The 2nd-story floor has collapsed due to rot, leaving a giant gaping hole in the roof. Furniture has fallen down and remained where it landed. Cabinets, an old TV, metal poles, and other furniture lay in a pile where they fell, and an old vacuum was once found hanging in midair. Not by ghostly powers, but simply because its cords got stuck and there it remained, swaying in the middle of the room. The outside walls from the 2nd floor have also been ripped off over the years, leaving the building just barely standing. Over in the lodgings, the ghost of a young woman is said to appear. Was she a visitor to the hotel? The victim of violence, left to haunt the building where she was murdered in? Or was she a local who found herself attracted to the spiritual energy of the building, taking up residence with the other ghosts in the popular Yurei Hotel? Details are scarce, and the real answer likely lies in the fact that someone once claimed the hotel was haunted, thus the ghost of a young woman must lurk in its corridors. What's a haunted building without its obligatory female ghost, after all? The Manohara Mountain Villa is small enough that you can explore the entire lot within 20 minutes. Finding it may take a little longer, however, because even with a map, Manohara is so out of the way that you might need a little spiritual guidance to even get there in the first place. Makuragi Mountain Love Hotel can be found roughly a 30-minute drive from Matsue City in Shimane Prefecture. It's one of the few buildings located on a long, twisting mountain road, and it's hidden so well behind the trees that you can blink and miss it, ending up long past it before you've even realized. It's a well-known ghost spot around town, but information regarding the building and why it was left abandoned is few and far between, making it ripe for stories of hauntings. As is the case with many of these stories, rumours were that the Love Hotel was suffering from poor business, being located all the way out in the mountains, and the owner ended up taking his own life because of it. It's highly likely the hotel did close down because of poor business, but there's no proof that anyone ever died inside, let alone the owner taking his own life. It was a small hotel with only 4 rooms, labelled halls. Inside you can still find the Cave Hall, Kura Hall, a traditional Japanese storehouse, Dynasty Hall, and Forest Hall. Each of the rooms was decorated to fit the theme, although these days they're little more than ruins covered in graffiti and almost completely destroyed. The building is so far from the closest city that it's a surprise it was able to stay in business at all, and the nearest buildings are kilometers away. Perfect for privacy, but not very good for business. There are a variety of ghosts you can expect to meet if you decide to make the trip out into the mountains to visit the Love Hotel remains. People speak of a ghostly woman in a white dress who haunts the second-floor veranda. And you might also run into a little girl with a bob haircut as well, much like the infamous Hanako-san of the toilet. The hotel is also said to be a great place to take pictures of ghosts, and white mist has been known to swirl around the place as well. The wide variety of supernatural occurrences have led some to dub the building Ghost Hotel as well. The front of Makuragi Mountain Love Hotel is cordoned off with a tiny steel barrier small enough for a child to step over, and there are no good places to park your car if you decide to visit, so you will be entering at your own risk, for a variety of reasons. The fact that the barricade and building still exist indicate that the grounds are still privately owned, but nobody is quite sure who the current owner is. Considering the building's location, it's likely cheaper and easier to leave it as is than to try to tear it down. There's nothing else out there anyway. Other than the ghosts that seem to congregate there, that is. Perhaps they enjoy the peace and quiet as well. Hotel Bluebird, also sometimes called Motel AT, was a love hotel built on Prefectural Road 71 in Fujinomiya City, Shizuoka Prefecture. Close to Asagiri Kogen and about 10 kilometers south of the Sea of Trees, it opened in 1976 and then closed a decade later, in 1986. It was a 2-story building in an I shape, and despite being closed several decades ago, its remains are still standing today, although they are much as you would expect an old building like this to be like, falling apart, trashed, and just plain dangerous to be in. Unlike many abandoned love hotels that just seem to pick up rumours over the years, this one has a solid story as to why people think it's haunted. Although, whether that story is actually true or not is another matter entirely. According to the rumours, a woman was murdered in this love hotel tucked away in the forest, and it was that murder in the mid-80s that eventually led to the building's closure. After this woman's supposed murder, her spirit was reportedly seen in and around the building, and sometimes even in the forest itself. But perhaps more terrifying than the supernatural element is the human element these days, with the building remains being treated like a dump where people regularly abandon their rubbish. Considering that it sits right on a prefectural road, making it incredibly easy to access, but is also located in a forest, meaning there aren't many eyes around. This part probably isn't all that strange. It would take mere seconds to pull the car over, throw something out, and then keep going again. which it seems many people have done over the years. Some visitors have made claims that homeless people now reside in the building, or that it's even run by gang members. One popular story circulating online claims that a person once found a gun there as well, so it's perhaps not the spirit of a woman you have to fear, but the gangsters who supposedly hang there instead. Either way, the stories of the murdered woman's ghost remain popular, and some claim you can even hear her voice while walking around the area as well. And thanks to the sea of trees being nearby, some claim that spirits from that general area have found themselves at the hotel after wandering around too. Not only that, there's a decently sized cemetery, only 100 meters or so away. So it would seem that the area is ripe for ghostly hauntings. These types of love hotels sure do love to turn into spirit nests after they're abandoned. No evidence has ever been dug up that a murder actually took place at Hotel Bluebird, and it's the type of incident you would expect to find mentioned somewhere. That being said, whether you believe it actually happened or it was just a story people made up in the 80s and 90s to explain why the building was abandoned is up to you. Where there's smoke, there may indeed be fire. But in this case, perhaps there's just rubbish and nothing more. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other haunted locations you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys again next time.